These are 10 episodes where Morty deserved to go to jail, starting with the time where he ended up causing mass destruction all because he wanted to save the lives of innocent people. In Season 2, Episode 2, titled Mortynight Run, Rick and Morty make a stop so Rick can deal a weapon to an assassin named Crumbopulous Michael. With the money Rick gets from the sale, he decides to take Morty to an interdimensional arcade, where Morty talks to Rick about how what he did is wrong because he is giving a deadly assassin the tools to kill.
Selling a gun to a hitman is the same as pulling the trigger.
It's also the same as doing nothing.
Determined to do the right thing, Morty goes after the assassin and ends up killing him inside of a Galactic Federation base.
You have arrived at Crumbopulous Michael.
Look at him doing the right thing. Yeah. He then helps the assassin's target, Fart. Yes, the cloud goes by Fart, who is a telepathic gas cloud, escape the facility, despite Rick's warning telling him not to.
Oh, good job, Morty. You killed my best customer, but you saved a mind-reading fart.
Would you kindly release me by pulling that lever to the left of my cell?
Morty, don't do it. Morty, you idiot.
This decision initiates a chaotic escape from the Galactic Federation forces, where Fart, with Morty's assistance as a getaway driver, uses deadly psionic abilities to slaughter countless officers and innocents in order to continue the escape.
My life is a
Joke.
By the end of the episode, it is revealed that Fart plans to annihilate all carbon-based life forms, proving Morty's misguided attempt at saving him to be disastrous. Morty ultimately kills Fart to stop this from happening. And while walking back to the spaceship to meet up with Rick, he realizes his massive mistakes which he's just made. I mean, yeah, look at how much chaos was caused because of wanting to save a fart.
How do you feel about all these people that are getting killed today because of your choices?
Though Morty's intentions were noble, him killing Crumbopulous Michael, as well as aiding in a dangerous prisoner's escape, which then led to plenty of death and destruction, this definitely makes Morty deserve jail time. Now, helping a killer fart may seem bad, but what about killing an entire town of people on purpose? In Season 2, Episode 9 of Rick and Morty, titled Look Who's Purging Now, Rick and Morty land on a remote planet in order to get wiper fluid. They shortly find out that the planet annually holds a purge-like event. On this night, all crime is legal, and citizens indulge in violence without consequences. Rick initially plans to stay uninvolved and just watch things from a distance.
Oh, shh, it's starting. Oh, here we go.
I'm not watching.
Yeah, your medal's in the mail.
But Morty grows uncomfortable watching the brutality unfold when a seemingly innocent girl appears to be about to meet her demise. Upon seeing this, Morty forces Rick to intervene, only to soon discover that she was manipulating them when she shoots Rick and steals their spaceship.
An Amish shot me. She tried to purge me, Morty. You let your wiener do the walking and now I'm dead.
Come on, Morty. Seriously? I mean, she even ended up having a boyfriend in the end.
Thank you so much for helping end the festival, but I have a boyfriend and
Okay, you can stop saying it. I took it okay the first time and now you're just repeating stuff.
Unlucky, man. With no way off the planet until Morty's sister Summer receives their distress signal, Rick and Morty are pulled deeper into the Purge's chaotic environment. Initially, Morty tries to remain calm, but his frustrations quickly build up, and he snaps into a violent frenzy. Using the mechanical exosuit and weapons they are sent by Summer, Morty goes on a killing spree, mercilessly killing countless people. Calm down, Morty, my word. Despite the purge laws on the planet, Morty's actions clearly show why he deserves to go to jail in this episode. I don't really think I even need to explain why. Now, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to leave a like, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content like it. Next up, we have Season 3, Episode 10, titled The Rickchurian Mortydate. Rick and Morty are called in by the US president to handle threats that normal government forces cannot contain. However, Rick's disdain for authority and Morty's want for a selfie with the president, which he is denied, quickly lead to tensions with the president.
Maybe then we could get a selfie?
Too busy, Morty.
After a tiny nuclear-capable species gets discovered in the Amazon, Rick and Morty decide to be the first to make contact. Them doing this angers the president and makes him decide to continually track them.
We've already agreed to a ceasefire with your ambassadors, Rick and Morty. They told me to give you this.
Are there pants?
They said you'd prefer just a shirt. Apparently you have a need to swing your dick around.
Although he ends up not being able to figure out where they are, just to come back to the White House office and discover Rick and Morty have broken in and are waiting in his office to get a selfie with him.
Get out.
Not without a selfie.
Arrest them.
I would say breaking into the White House is definitely not legal, especially just for a selfie. But what about purposely ending the lives of military soldiers? In Season 4, Episode 1, titled Edge of Tomorty, Rick Die Rickpeat, while on a mission with Rick to mine death crystals, Morty decides to keep one for himself. This crystal shows the user glimpses of how they will die in the future based on the current choices they make. Obsessed with a vision where he dies peacefully in his crush Jessica's arms, Morty begins making increasingly dangerous and reckless choices to ensure that he dies this way. Morty quickly spirals into unethical behavior, including ignoring the fact that Rick literally just died right in front of him, and then he hijacks his ship. It's pretty clear he wants to avoid anything that doesn't align with the crystal's future. So as well, he kills a group of soldiers and others along the way without remorse.
Why are you letting me do this?
I do as the crystal guides.
All while justifying every action he makes with his obsession of achieving his desired death outcome. The episode ends with Rick putting a stop to Morty's rampage, forcing him to abandon his pursuit of the crystal-guided future. All of this happened only for Jessica to later reveal that Morty's peaceful vision wasn't romantic at all, but instead was just Jessica becoming a hospice worker later in life.
I want to work in hospice. I want to comfort the people who are dying, the real lonely people. I'm gonna look at their name tags and I'm gonna say, I love you.
In this episode, Morty commits multiple murders, and his actions are deliberate, making him responsible of the crimes and deserving of jail time. All of that is crazy enough, but in this next episode, Morty's small actions end up leading to the most wild of events. In Season 4, Episode 5, titled Rattlestar Ricklactica, Rick and Morty are on an adventure, and their ship gets a flat tire. Rick initially tells Morty to stay inside the ship, but Morty decides to come out anyway. While floating in space, Morty encounters a snake astronaut which bites him. He reacts by killing the snake.
Let me analyze the snake's planet so I can whip up an anti-venom.
While analyzing the planet origins of the snake in order to make an antidote for Morty, Rick realizes the snakes are actually somewhat advanced in technology. This makes Morty feel extra guilty for ending the life of one of their astronauts, and this guilt gets the best of Morty.
Play snake jazz.
So he buys a regular Earth snake and disguises it as an astronaut and then sends it back to the snake's planet, hoping no one will notice. But Morty doesn't get to slither out of this mistake so easily. His actions trigger the timeline of the snake planet's development to shift, which leads to global unrest, a snake civil war, and eventually a disaster involving snakes traveling through time, some of which are trying to assist humans and some of which are trying to end the lives of humans. So Rick and Morty are forced to clean up the mess, and using time travel, they intervene and restore order by resealing the timeline before things spiral further.
They did what? Okay, I'm on it. You don't with time.
What happened? Look, this is better than them attacking us.
Morty's irresponsible actions of killing the snake astronaut nearly caused the destruction of humanity. I'd say this definitely deserves some jail time. Now stay tuned, because in this next episode, Morty's actions are so terrible that he decides to fake his own death to escape the consequences. In Season 4, Episode 8, titled the Vat of Acid episode, Rick and Morty get into trouble with alien criminals, forcing them to fake their deaths by jumping into a fake vat of acid. Morty is frustrated with this dumb plan of Rick's and mocks him for it.
Vat of fake acid? Are you dying of dementia?
How are you talking to me like this? When did you get so cocky?
Tonight!
During all this mocking, Morty tells Rick that he can't create a save point device, allowing him to reset reality from a specific point anytime he wants, kind of like a video game checkpoint.
Ha! You can't do it!
I can do anything, Morty.
So in retaliation, Rick makes him a device just like that, and Morty begins eagerly using the device, believing he's free from all consequences. At first, Morty lives recklessly, trying dangerous stunts, committing petty crimes, and engaging in risky behavior. However, he soon finds himself falling in love with a girl. They develop a deep connection and go through a terrible traumatic event where their plane crashes and they have to survive in the cold. Somehow, they both make it out alive and end up celebrating back at Morty's house, only for Morty's dad, Jerri, to accidentally reset Morty's life to the last save point, which of course was right before he met the girl, erasing everything they had shared together. Classic Jerri. Devastated by this, Morty uses the device with increasing desperation to try to reform his relationship with the girl, but this never seems to work out. Rick later reveals the dark twist. The device didn't reset timelines, but rather transported Morty between alternate realities, leaving alternate versions of himself as well as versions of those who his actions affected to suffer the consequences. In order for Morty to make up for this problem, Rick merges all the realities which Morty went through, forcing him to experience the fallout of his every choice. To avoid accountability, Morty ends up using Rick's initial vat of acid idea to escape the consequences and fake his own death.
Seems like there's no way out of this one. Unless...
God
yeah, I guess it is, what did you call it? A idea?
God.
I guess it wasn't such a bad idea after all, huh, Morty?
Don't ever make fun of me again, ever.
Morty's selfish actions while using the save point device include countless different crimes and definitely make him deserve jail time. Next up, we got Season 4, Episode 10, titled Star Mort Rickturn of the Jerri, where Morty's reckless behavior amplifies the chaos during one of the family's most dangerous situations. The episode centers on the fallout of Rick creating a clone of Beth. One Beth stays with her family while the other becomes a galactic rebel and is wanted by the Galactic Federation. During the episode, Morty, instead of taking things seriously, gets a hold of Rick's invisibility belt and thermal goggles with Summer, and they end up fighting over who can use it and when. When Morty gets the belt, he abuses its power to spy on cheerleaders from his school in the locker room. Luckily though, Summer exposes his creepiness by spraying him with a fire extinguisher, and steals the belt right back. Right after this happening, the new Galactic Federation comes to arrest Morty because of his crimes against them, and as well because they are searching for Space Beth, who has also committed crimes against them. But because they think he has psychic powers from Summer holding the fire extinguisher beside him in the air, they choose to surrender.
Do you have psychic powers?
Yes.
You can't, like, stop our hearts, can you?
I can.
Okay, we surrender.
In this episode, Morty's misuse of the belt to sneak into a women's locker room is definitely not legal. As well, when the new Galactic Federation surrenders, he uses this opportunity to board their mothership and ends up blowing up a guard. Now for the time, Morty makes an entire civilization swear vengeance against him. In Season 5, Episode 1, titled Mort Dinner Rick Andre, Morty believes he's going to die while about to crash Rick's spaceship, so he decides to call his crush Jessica and shoot his shot. Morty then agrees to watch a movie for a romantic evening with Jessica, hoping for a breakthrough in their relationship. Rick is also having a visitor at this time, so he asks Morty to retrieve wine for them while she's over. However, the wine must age in a portal to an alternate dimension where time flows differently and much faster. Jessica also wants wine, so Morty agrees to go get her some. While doing so, he meets a guy named Hoovy on the other side of the portal who agrees to help him retrieve the wine and comes back through the portal with Morty. When Hoovy returns to his world, so much time has passed that his wife has died, and his child holds hatred towards him. So much so that he ends Hoovy's life when he returns. While Hoovy is dying, he mentions that it wasn't his fault.
Who's that? Who's
The boy from the magic door.
But rather the fault of the boy from the magic door. Morty comes back multiple times for wine. Each time he returns, decades have passed, leaving behind a trail of unintended tragedy as an entire society rises in revolt against the boy from the magic door,
Stop him.
blaming him for generations of ruin.
Papa, why do we guard the gate?
Because one day the Dark Child shall return, and we will be ready.
Morty's repeated trips to the wine dimension create a civilization scarred by his meddling, leading to intense militarization and eventually full-blown war against him. Morty, primarily driven by his personal desires and oblivious to the harm that he's causing, reacts with increasing aggression, not wanting to face the results of his actions. The episode includes a series of violent confrontations, with Morty committing brutal acts as he tries to retrieve the wine. The people from the other dimension grow so mad with Morty that they kidnap Jessica. Morty then decides to go back, seeking vengeance for them doing this. But when he gets there, it appears as though so much time has passed that reality has become a space between the beginning and the end of time. Although it turns out to be a trap where they also capture Morty. Once Morty and Jessica are saved, Morty tries to move things forward with Jessica. But scarred by seemingly being imprisoned in time for an eternity, Jessica thinks they should just be friends.
I have glimpsed into the mind of eternity, perhaps the mind of God, and found nothing but silence. I think we should just be friends.
In this episode, the tragedy lies in Morty's reckless disregard for consequences, showing how a seemingly innocent desire for a perfect date with Jessica spirals into large-scale devastation. Morty's short-sighted decisions end up ruining and ending countless lives, ultimately painting him as a villain in a world he didn't care enough to understand. In the next episode, Season 5, Episode 3, titled A Rickconvenient Mort, Morty faces intense emotional turmoil that drives him to extreme lengths. Morty falls in love with Planetina, a superhero who fights to save the environment, because he loves her passion. Their romance leads Morty to take drastic measures to stay with her, completely ignoring the boundaries set by his family and his responsibility as a high schooler.
Morty and I can concentrate on more important things.
Like school.
Like moving in.
Morty's infatuation quickly blinds him and he becomes increasingly irrational.
Morty, I don't want you getting hurt. Please think this over.
I don't want to think. I want to see a girl I like.
He goes so far as to murder Planetina's handlers, 4 elemental beings who control her life, believing they're merely holding her back from true freedom. Morty's impulsive decision to kill them is shockingly violent, showing just how deep his obsession with Planetina goes. Ultimately, his desperation ends in heartbreak as he's forced to acknowledge Planetina's radicalism and part ways. There's that passion we were talking about earlier, yeah! Despite his emotional breakdown at the end, Morty's actions are beyond excuse. It's clear he's driven by personal desire and blind love, which leads to him ending lives. Now time to chat about the crimes Morty committed in Season 7, Episode 6, titled Rickfending Your Mort. At the beginning, Morty tries to cash in adventure cards with Rick, which entitle him to an adventure of his choice. However, Rick accuses him of forging many of the cards, so he summons a cosmic entity called the Observer to audit their past adventures to confirm the validity of Morty's cards. Things worsen when the Observer starts playing embarrassing clips of events from the past, stirring conflict among the family and leading to tension. The breaking point occurs when Morty, who's frustrated by the Observer's antics, kicks it into the street, causing it to get hit by a truck and die.
I never saw this coming.
The Observer's death results in Rick and Morty being put on trial by the entity's peers. Even during the trial, Morty's past actions are exposed by other observers, including dangerous stunts like mishandling weapons Rick gave him, as well as mistreating a sentient being which Rick created for him, Jerri.
Hi, I'm Jerri!
An immortal churro that Morty abandoned alone on an isolated planet after bringing it to life. Poor Jerri. Let's hope he gets revenge on Morty someday to pay for all the crimes in this episode. Out of everything in this video, what do you think makes Morty deserve to go to jail the most? Let me know in a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like this other one where I talk about the times Rick deserved to go to jail. You can check it out on screen now. As well, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.